first pieces I'm going to cut are going to be my 4 square corner blocks, which are 3 inches each, and my 3 edge blocks. Now, I want these blocks to be exactly 3 inches. So I'm going to set my fence off of that side of the blade at exactly 3 inches.
Most off-the-shelf rulers do not start at dead zero like this one. There's about an 1/8 inch added between the zero and the end of the ruler. For accurate measurements from the end of the ruler, you need to have one like this that does not have the extra overhang. I put this ruler up against my saw blade and get accurate measurements to the fence. You may also use a combination square ruler, which should work just fine. Measure from both the front and the back edge of the blade. If these aren't equal, you'll end up getting chip out at the end of your cut. Adjust your splash guard to height.
And I'm going to square each one of these off.
You should constantly be checking your pieces to make sure that they are dimensionally correct.
I need to cut these corner pieces with a 22.5 degree angle on them. Now I need to set the bed on my saw to 22.5 degrees. One of the slickest tools you could ever own is one of these little magnetic angle gauges. I'm going to plop it down on top of this thing and watch what happens. We start out by zeroing it, and we just lift it up until we get our 22.5 degrees.
You may have noticed this little stand I'm using is a bit wobbly. I did hold it steady with my knee as I was making this adjustment.
And we'll lock it down. That's all there is to it. Again, one of the handiest little gadgets you'd ever want to own.
Next, I'll show you the process I used for cutting 42 edge pieces, cutting them both for width and for length.
I'm going to size this first down to 2 1/16 inch. As I cut them, I'm going to make absolutely sure that I'm constantly making sure I have water splashing out of this saw. Also, you want to keep the top of your saw clean. Add some water. I think I have the saw set up pretty good now. I had to fiddle around with that quite a bit. It's one of the disadvantages of using one of these inexpensive saws, and this is probably one of the most inexpensive saws you can get.
Note that I keep a clean bucket of water handy to clean the tiles as I cut them.
What I've done is I've screwed a piece of wood fast to my miter block. Now, what I'm going to do is use this piece of wood to index my 5-inch pieces that I need to make out of these. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is just run the saw through that piece of wood, and then I'll show you the next step. That's the very edge of the blade, don't we? So all I need to do now is measure over my 5 inches, and what I'm going to do is just stick a little brad in there, a little nail in there, so that I can put my piece down and cut each one of them to the exact length. I'm going to put the marble into the saw upside down. What I've found out is that if I put it right side up, shiny side up, I'm getting a little bit of breakout as I go through this saw. And in this particular case, I'm not going to hit a back cut on it. So what we do is we put the piece of marble in there and put it right up against our little indexing nail. And that should be our 5-inch piece. Tell you what, you wouldn't want it much better than that. You need to get used to checking your pieces before you cut them. Now, when I cut this piece, here's where I had a little bit of breakout onto the other piece. So actually, this is the end I want to cut off of. So always make sure to look it over close before you go and make your cut. Once again, we'll put it up against our indexing mark. I'm going to do it upside down. You make it a great day, and thanks for watching.